Well. That was like 6 minutes, I think, but we're into the game now.
Oh, I don't want to give up.
I was gonna say, is Rick in here?
I don't want to give up zombie girl.
Well, too bad. In the top left, in the other semifinal of the day, it's a best of 3. It's on King Sejong. And I forgot I already said the top left. Whatever. It's the blue Terran, Ryung.
Yay.
Yeah.
And his opponent in this matchup isn't just going to be the fact that it's Creator. It's also going to be the fact that in the bottom right, we got spawning red. It's Protoss.
Wow.
And as much as I would love to meme about the race, Ryung has just, like, again, he got wrecked by stats in the finals. He's had a track record of bad Protoss throughout his career. This matchup doesn't seem to be a super strong point for him.
He beat stats last time.
In the finals?
I don't know about the finals, but I remember
Last week it was like 3-1 stats Ryung.
I remember he
sure.
beat him in a semifinals recently. That might have been the week before. But I'm just saying,
Maybe.
like, it's not 100%. So he can beat good Protosses. But he also, like any other Terran, can have trouble.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Ryung can't beat Protoss, but it really does seem like, at least the matches I've seen, because I guess I didn't see that one or whatever, I zoned out or I don't know what the fuck happened, but yeah, he's in my eye, I guess he's got the little Canadian day. He's had the struggles, from what I've seen.
Maybe it was because it was actually different Terran. Or, Protoss, my bad. Oh no, it was. It was just the weekend. It was just the week before that. Okay. So, I mean, Creator, this is like one of the first times he's appeared, right? And actually checked in.
Well, no, he played, I want to say, at the beginning of the year. I definitely remember him signing up for when I was getting hyped about it, but yeah, Creator is kind of along that same line of all these other guys. Oh, nice proxy out of Ryung, by the way, who wasn't really allowed to play in a lot of things.
Yeah, even though he was, I mean, I'd say that Creator is most known for his time on Prime. I say it and I've already forgotten if he was or not, and I'm just making things up. But anyways, like his time on Jin Air, I don't think is nearly as notable. Like, people were all hyped when he joined because he was always one of those guys that was like, he felt limited by his team. And then everyone was hoping that being on like a really good team like Jin Air was going to help him. But little did they know that he was still limited because he was still not as good as like all the other guys in Jin Air. So,
Have you seen his Wikipedia picture?
no.
Everyone right now, just go Google Creator SC2 and I'll give you a Wikipedia page. You need to look at his picture.
Okay, I'm going to do that while we watch this build, this proxy unfold. Creator, Wikipedia. Aw, he's so cute.
It's so good. All right, so yeah, Ryung goes to the proxy for this. Very interesting with the Widow Mine placement here too. Creator's not going to know about this right away because Creator's going for this aggressive pylon attack that we've seen. Now, the Marines in the front line are supposed to be able to ward this off, and they can take on the Adept. If they take on the Adept, they can kill the Pro, but of course the problem still remains with the Mothership Core. Had she come with this push, these Marines would have been obliterated.
Yeah.
But because she doesn't, it's maybe troubles. Now, Ryung, keep in mind, for him, he's looking more towards this tank, he's looking more towards putting some pressure on towards Creator's base, and not having to defend. But this initial Marine push out was so good, the Pro was shut down, the Adepts are going back home, same as the Mothership Core, and this attack on a Creator doesn't even get the start.
This is already fairly bad news for Creator, believe it or not. I mean, this push is in general kind of hard to defend against, regardless if you go for Twilight Council, or Robo, or Stargate. But that he doesn't know what's going on is already bad. Like, usually you probe scout a Terran. I'd say, like, most of the time you do. Oh, that was dangerous. Oh, love of God. And he didn't. And then seeing the Marines out like that wasn't necessarily a tell either. It was a little suspicious, but it wasn't necessarily a tell. So now he knows what's really going on. The Widowmine drop into the push on the rocks is, I would say, fairly popular. What Ryung has to do, though, to make this work against a Stargate build is get an engineering bay, and he is. So you gotta get him to start in your main base, but you also have to protect your tanks against the Graviton lifts, which Creator decides not to go for. He went for a Void Ray instead.
I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, it will deal with the Liberator a lot faster, but it will die to the Marines too, so...
I'm really not sure about it either. I think the point is that it'll stop the medevac from siege hopping with the Liberator. You know, it has like an okay range. The Marines haven't broken on the rocks yet, but when the rocks are broken down, yeah, I think the Marines can just shoo away the Void Ray. We'll see. We'll see. The Oracle's not going to go in. I would actually say for Creator, he might you can poke, I suppose, but you got to know they have a missile turret down. You know that a pro gamer like Ryung has done this build 1,000 times, so
Yeah.
not quite 1,000, but a lot.
The problem is the Void Ray does go into this. He prismatically aligns to take out the Liberator, and it does precisely that. But the Marines are more than enough to take out the Void Ray. The Cyclone approaches that front line too, and Ryung didn't really lose much.
No, he dealt with that really nicely. I really don't think the Void Ray was the way to go. It's also so expensive, you know. You get 5 Phoenix, sure they die because they're light and don't have too much health, but they take a couple of units completely out of the battle. Void Rays, you get 1, now 2 Void Rays. They're powerful stuff, but they need support, and you can't afford both the Void Rays and the support. So I don't know. I think the Phoenix still would have been a better way to go. That doesn't mean that that's the way to defend against this. We have seen people try and defend with Phoenixes and still die, for sure. It's just a hard build to defend against in general, but I think it would have been better.
It's certainly too far out of hand now. It's one of those things where, like, if Ryung had done damage but not killed the Nexus, there's like recovery for Creator, and he probably comes out better for it. But with 3 Cyclones left mostly untouched, the tank, of course, here on the low ground, medevac giving high ground vision, Probes coming from behind on top of the Cyclones, and as you can see, Probes actually got some pretty good damage against Cyclones, but GG ultimately is called, and Ryung takes game number 1, which I'm really impressed by. I really am, because he won that, I feel, very easily. I know that's not the right way, excuse me, because that was not an easy push, but that was like one-sided once you got rid of the Void Ray.
It honestly felt like Creator realized that, okay, when you're kind of stuck in whatever you choose if you don't scout, you know, so like it sucks if you went for a Stargate and you didn't want to, but that's the way things go. It felt like he has defended against this before, or rather failed defending against it before with Phoenixes, so he was like, habitually started a Phoenix, and I was like, wait a second, this didn't work out in the past, I'm gonna try Void Rays, and
Nope.
that didn't work either. So, I will say that when Legacy of the Void was new, the way that Protosses dealt with Terran Cheese, because remember those 1-base builds are so popular, Stargate was actually really nice, and Void Rays could be nice too. I remember Patience was using that. I don't think that's quite the same effect though, because the whole ramp rock dynamic on King Sejong really makes that push worse to hold. Gonna take us to game number 2.
I gotta go grab something to eat. My blood sugar, something's dying. I'm shaking. I've got to be right back, so you might have to do this one alone.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be Apotheosis. That was Creator's map choice. I'm a little surprised by Apotheosis, I suppose. New Gettysburg seems to be a more preferable Protoss map against any race. Apotheosis is okay. Choices he cannot get: Dasson Station, Galactic Process. Don't think you want to get Dasson Station against a Terran, or as a Protoss in general, I think. And Galactic Process is, I think it's okay, but I also feel like it's almost stylistic with how much with how varied the choices seem to be to get that map. Anyway, Zomg, I'm on fire. Thank you for the 8-month resub. Love you guys. Please tell Crank I love him too. Well, I'm sure Olivia can relay that message. Oh gosh, Ryung. Oh, Ryung just doesn't want any Protoss bullshit today. Damn. The top left as the red Protoss C is Creator. In the bottom right, already sending out that SCV. It's the blue Terran, Ryung. I like you guys' reactions to Creator's profile pic, by the way. Kappa with the little cute little ears. He's so cute. Kipo. Kipo. Anyways. So this isn't as dedicated as the last build yet, but we shall pay attention to the second gas. He's gonna take it. This has definitely become the more common version of the proxy racks. Once upon a time, people actually expanded from this and are just kind of like using it as a, instead of no damage on with the Reaper, which usually happens with the run racks expand, it became like at least like 3 or 4 probes damage. Of course, you would lose production in your barracks when it ran back home, but that was kind of the trade-off. Now it's just almost always that one base, like factory, starport, those could be proxied too. It really is about the snowball and just getting constant damage done with something. If the Reaper doesn't do it, then the Cyclone does it. If the Cyclone isn't, made, then the Liberator's made and does something. And Creator is once again not scouting, so okay, what's so funny about Prime, it was well loved by a lot of people before, the thing happened, the incident, shall we say. But what's funny is that after its peak, I would say, like winning GSTL and all that, Prime was just mostly known for being like, stepped on and like kicked, right, in Pro League. they also had this thing where their best players had like huge weaknesses. Because we'll talk about Marine King, right? Marine King Prime constantly died because he didn't build a bunker, didn't scout. Creator had the same problem and was ingenious at certain moments, and everyone like really wanted him to do very well, but he could just never consistently get there. And apparently he still has that. He's not scouting at all, and he's just gonna die. I don't know he's actually gonna die, but he's not starting himself off on the right foot, that's for sure, by not scouting. So this bunker gets up before he even realizes. The Reaper survives. Second one's already... Oh, it was a Marine. My bad. So he's gonna put Marines in here. He's following it up with the factory. It looks like it's gonna be Cyclones. The Starboat's gonna get a Liberator after that. It's not just that Creator doesn't scout. It's just that Protoss not scouting a Terran is always a little, like, wonky to me, to be honest. It's not like 100%, you know? It's not quite the same as, like, Bizarro World a drone scout can be, but I would say that most Protoss is probe scout. Bunker is taken care of because the pylons got up, and that's not such a big deal. Creator is taking care of this with the, you know, most calm manner that he can. He's not losing a ton of probes. In fact, I don't think any have gone down quite yet because the Reaper wasn't followed up with another Reaper. It was followed up with the Marines. And I'd say in that way, Ryung has kind of failed with his push. In fact, loses the Reaper right now. Because if a second Reaper comes in, you just dive. You know, you could probably still get away from the pylons. You can still avoid the stalkers, and you get at least those 4 probe kills I was talking about. Getting 0 and 0 damage done on the Nexus is pretty bad for the Rax part of this. We'll see what the Cyclone and the Starport follow-up can do. Well, Creator gets a Twilight Council. Seriously, not taking any damage from that is pretty bad, and he should be confident in his follow-up, but not overconfident, right? Like, don't just think that you're going to be okay for the next 10 seconds, because there are Cyclones on the way. And finally, he sends a damn probe out to scout, which I think is very important, because he doesn't want to know if it's going to be a Cyclone follow-up, or if he had already gotten, like, a command center, for instance, as a, you know, the other option. They saw a Cyclone. I don't think you could really tell if it had mag field accelerator or not, but I think it's the... You can assume if they're following it up that quickly with a Cyclone, they're probably going for the upgrade for it as well. Uh-oh, is that Olivia again? Oh, it's Rifkin. Well, I don't know what happened with him. And I can't ask, because he went to go get food. Well, as we watch the time tick down, I would say that Creator is still in a really good position, and I'm not really sure that the Cyclone follow-up can do very much. Believe it or not, it's not because of the Photon Overcharges available, it's not because of the amount of Stalkers. I would say it won't do very much because of the War Prism. Being able to break that lock-on means that that upgrade almost feels useless. And just in general, it really does cut the Cyclone's microability down, like, substantially. Drop the Fool. Drop it like it's hot. Rifkin's left the game. Okay, well, he's not coming back then. Ever. He's fired. 2 probes go down because the Liberator got in the back, but unfortunately there's so much space around the mineral line. The Stalkers really didn't have a bad job at cleaning that up. Pylon does go down, and apparently... Oh no, the Stalkers are at the main base, that's right. Okay, so the Pylons go down, which is more than I expected, but also, you know, they're the one thing that couldn't be picked up by the War Prism, so I guess that would have been the obvious kill. And 1 Cyclone gets out, but Ryung still has a job to do to catch up here. His Command Center only just finishing up, only just turned into an orbital, and Creator, getting a couple additional gateways, has Blink on the way, of course has that War Prism, could definitely try and punish Ryung. I mean, maybe he doesn't all in, he still gets a 3rd base and all of that, but without a good number of tanks, and a good number, like a good scout on what your opponent is doing, you know, the Stalker's over here, the Stalker's over there, a Stalker attack could do a lot of damage, I think, to Ryung. Let's not forget that stuff like Tech Labs, Stim, Combat Shields could be up for grabs if the Stalkers really do get a lot of damage, a lot of time in the main base to do damage. Combat Shields is probably a little too far forward, but Stim is a possibility. Because if Creator can blink up to the high ground to the north and get to the concave to the south, he'll probably just win the game straight up. because he'd have a concave on these units, as well as be on top of the production. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Cyclones, tanks, they're good in that positional engagement if they can micro. Well, if the tank and a medevac could micro. But there we go. Reveals himself a little bit. So Ryung was already responding, but there goes the first add-on, there goes the second add-on. Tech Lab looks mighty juicy, but I think Creator could actually just end the game. I don't think he has to try and go for stim. Tank isn't even really helping out. It's attacking a damn Adept right here. Scan goes down to the natural. That's it, Ryung. GG. Creator shows that it doesn't matter if you scat or not. You can still win the game. I'll take us into game number 3. Now Ryung's map choice. I'll go to a quick commercial break. See if Rifkin comes back. Welcome back. Rifkin had to restart all of his stuff because his internet went down. So we're still waiting on that. Creator had to go to the bathroom anyway. So if Rifkin comes back before he comes back, then great. If not, then I don't mind. Solo casting the third game. There'll probably be a big break between the semifinals and the finals anyway. That's pretty usual. So it's not, you'll have time to fix it. Alright, Creator's back. Everyone's ready. Okay, it's gonna be Frozen Temple. Getting a bit of a headache.
Hello?
Oh, hi.
Oh, shit, I'm still lagging. 1 sec.
Okay, well, we're in a game, so... Just, take your time. In the bottom right, on Frozen Temple, it's tied up 1-1. He is the blue Terran, Ryung. In top left, as the red Protoss, he is Creator.
Hello?
Hi.
I think it's working now. I don't know what happened. I fucking sat down. I was like, oh, like I got lagged out because it's Korea stuff, right? And then everything's dead. Bot's dead. Nothing's working.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So anyways, I just heard you introduced. I'll leave you alone. I'll try and get back online. I'll see you for the next game, I guess.
Okie dokie. Well, this time we don't have Ryung sending an SCV out. So no cheese. I mean, the first cheese worked so well, but that is also kind of a map-dependent cheese. Apotheosis, I would say, is pretty popular for the Proxy Reaper. It's not exactly like the same type of abusiveness map abusiveness like the King Sejong build is. Because, yeah, Apotheosis has enough spaces to hop up on and make Reapers useful, but there's not like that same dynamic of the rocks and the choke and the ramp and all that to use as well. Maybe I spoke too soon? This will look like a command build for Creator for a time, and then he'll be like, wait a second, why isn't the command center going on the low ground? So he could think for, again, like another 2 seconds, like, oh, maybe I'm denying the SCV that's going to go on the low ground. I'm doing a great job. Oh, gets SCV. That's actually kind of important. Well, we'll see what Creator reads into this, because what's so interesting is that okay, the SCV didn't go down in preparation to build the command center, but that doesn't mean that they weren't planning on it. And you saw a second SCV go and try and like save the other SCV, so that might have been the one to go down and build it. If he had seen the second supply depot get started instead of the command center, or he saw that it was a Marine instead of a Reaper, he would have known that that wasn't a command center build. But since he didn't see any of that, let me double check. Yeah, since he didn't see any of that, he might still... Wait, did he see the gas? He didn't even see the gas. Yeah, so he might still be a little bit in the dark here. Well, I'm not sure if he was checking for a hidden production. Well, I don't think Terran would hide the production over here. Or he's going for his own proxy pylon. I think he's going to go for his own proxy pylon. The Marine scouts it, however, and by now, Creator should know something is up, I want to say, because, well, you know, seeing a Marine scouting like that is only a little suspicious, because they could be just suspicious of you And Reaper openers aren't necessarily the only thing you can do anymore in TvP. So I'm still not quite sure what Creator is reading from this. It looks like he was trying to go for the pylon, by the way, on the low ground, and that's why his probe was down there. But his mothership core is going to try and get some scouting at the very least. So again, seeing the 3 Marines, it kind of probably feels like deja vu from the King Sejong game. By now, and he's going to see the double gases as well. He knows that the proxy factory and starport have gone down, if he wasn't sure before. Recall's gonna have to be used, and that's a pretty big deal. He will have 1 photon overcharge after the fact. But we already have the Widow Mine drop commencing. Now, again, this map, it's not the ramp choke dynamic quite, but it does have a better choke than other maps. It also doesn't have the ramp so that the defender's advantage kind of kicks in. So it's still, of course, popular for these 1-base builds, the 2-base Cyclone tank pushes, all that jazz. And it's still, I'd say, a decent build. Ryung has a very good chance of doing a lot of damage here. Trying to get a good hit with the Widow Mine this time, doesn't do so. He's able to see that it's a Stargate opener again, and will be able to compensate for that. Again, getting the engineering bay as quick as possible for the offensive turret as well as the defensive turret. Creator is going to go for Phoenixes this time. Like I said, it kind of felt like he has done Phoenixes before and was like, that didn't work, I'm going to try Voiders. And the Voiders didn't work either, so I think back to Phoenixes. Maybe going to try and nip this in the bud. 4 Depths doesn't seem like enough, no, especially with the Liberator here. Pylon is taken down, another one's already built in its place, but honestly this is just about buying time, kind of threatening that maybe you would go to an overcharge, but not really ever wanting to, as you can see. Unless your force is chilling. Oracle does get behind enemy lines and kills some of the Marines, and the Adepts almost got that Cyclone. That would have been absolutely huge. And the Creator loses 2 Adepts and basically loses the 3rd one. SCVs are being pulled to repair the Cyclone, build bunkers, whatever he wants to do, really. Oh, and that Oracle doesn't have any energy, so it can't kill the Cyclone. It's gonna die. Oh, gosh. This Cyclone is only tangled with 3 Adepts, so it definitely shouldn't go down. Okay, that Oracle, like, tapped that Cyclone. What the hell? But I think that might be it. Creator has lost too many important units trying to be... It's not that he was unnecessarily fancy. I think if properly microed, everything could have been gone really well for Creator, but it wasn't. He barely didn't do enough damage to the Cyclone. He barely didn't catch the Marines. He barely didn't have energy on his Oracle. And I think this is going to be game. Well, the Nexus going down and no army to speak of, or a very small army to speak of for Creator usually means it's game over. Stalkers aren't really that impressive. They don't have Blink. It wasn't a Twilight Council opener. And that might just be it for Creator. Can't stand up to Ryung's cheese. That would make the finals a best of 5 TVZ, Ryung and Sue. Unless your core goes down. Oracle finally gets to the main base, but his turret's already been built. Not a problem. Again, some of this might have to do that Creator did not scout the build when he probably should have. I'm still kind of unsure if that's the case. I would say a Robo opener is better against this build in both King Sejong and Frozen Temple, but I'm not even 100% sure about that. Phoenixes seems like they could be very helpful, even with missile turrets down. But I think Robo can actually be the better way to go. And if he thought he was all A-okay to go for a Stargate because he misread the situation, then that certainly could have contributed to the eventual loss. Tries to break it by pulling the probe, sending his army in, but there's too many Marines, all the tanks, all the Cyclones, all the 1 tank, all the Cyclones. Oh, there's a second tank. GG! Ryung, Jesus, Creator, out of the series.
Nice. So that's, sorry, you just said Sue versus Ryung in the finals then?
Correct.
Nice.
Yep, thank you to Bagami for the 8-month resub. Like I said, probably an extended break. But, I mean, sometimes they've been doing it weird.
With Korean casters, I just assume that's the case.
Yeah, once or twice they've actually just been like, nope, we're good, and it was kind of surprising. But again, just, you know, either a 2-minute break or an 8-minute break. To get you updated in chat. See you soon.